All right, it's Caden, and it's Mr. B. And today, if you haven't already guessed by our attire, we are making a bike safety video. Right, Caden?
Yep.
Awesome. Let's put our fitness grenades in the middle. 3, 2, 1. Mr. B's Fitness Channel! Boo! Hi, Caden. Okay, so today we're talking about bike safety. We're going to give you a few tips on how to stay safe on your bike. The first thing we need to talk about is what, Caden?
Helmets.
Helmets. Helmets are the law. So if you're under the age of 18, you need to be wearing a helmet. It is the law. Okay? If you're over the age of 18, you definitely should consider wearing a helmet because it keeps your brain safe. It keeps your head safe, okay? It's even if you're really, really good at riding a bike, you could still fall and you don't want to hit your head. Wearing a helmet, as you can see with Caden, it's got to be low on your forehead, okay? It's got to fit properly, and then you should only be able to fit 2 fingers tightly this way, 2 fingers tightly underneath your helmet, okay? So that's, and Caden's fingers are a little bit smaller. If I use mine, they fit tight under there. Look at his face. See, he's like, oh, that's so tight. Okay, Caden, why do you think we want to have the strap of our helmet fairly tight?
Because if it's too loose, it can pop off your head.
It could pop off your head, or it could swivel and then move out of the way, and then you could end up just hitting your head on the ground anyways, as if you weren't wearing a helmet. So your helmet has to fit. It has to be low on your forehead, and you have to have the strap done up just pretty tightly. So you just only want to be able to fit 2 fingers underneath. All right. The next thing that we notice about what Caden has on is he has on some pretty bright clothing, okay? So he's got some bright blue shorts on. He's got a pretty colorful tank top on. Caden, turn around. Okay? So you can see him pretty well, okay? So you want to be able to be seen. So you want to be wearing some pretty bright clothes when you're on your bike, all right? Why do you think it's good to wear bright clothes, Caden?
Then the cars can see you better.
That's right. The cars can see you better. If you have some reflective clothing, that's good too. Some people have some reflective jackets, or I know that at the bike shops they sell Velcro reflective tags that you could put on your ankle or on your arm so that when a car goes by, even if it's at night, they'll be able to see you. Okay, and the last thing we're going to talk about what Caden's wearing is his
shoes.
Running shoes. So why do you think it's important to wear running shoes, Caden?
Because if you wore flip-flops, when you're biking, they can come off your feet, and then it could be a big problem because then you could get distracted by that and fall off your bike.
Right, exactly. So if you're wearing good running shoes, you'll be able to make good contact with your pedals, and you'll be able to stay safe on your bike, right?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Okay, so now Caden is actually on his bike. And the first thing that we notice is that with his bum on the seat, both of his feet can touch the ground. Okay, so you want both of your feet to be able to touch the ground while your bum is on the seat. Okay, that's very important. Because if you can't touch the ground with 2 feet, your bike is a little too big for you. Okay, you might have to move your seat down. The reason you want to be able to have both feet on the ground is in case you need to quickly stop and put both feet on the ground. That way it's better and it's easier for you to support yourself and for you to balance when you come to a stop if you need to. Okay, it's just better to support yourself and your bike that way. All right, the next thing that we're going to look at is that Caden's handlebars are not super duper high. They're not super duper low. His handlebars are at a good height, okay? He's easily able to control his bike. The next thing you want to do on your bike is you want to make sure that your brakes work, okay? And a good way to test your brakes is to just use your feet, okay? Roll forward and then hit your front brake, Caden. Does your front brake work?
Yep.
Okay, now roll backwards and use your back brake. Yeah, does it work?
Yep.
Okay, so it's really important that you test your brakes kind of in a controlled way before you go and go biking, okay? Because you don't want to start biking and be going, say, down a hill or something like that, and grab your brakes and find out that they don't work. You want to test your brakes out before you go biking, right? That way you know that they work and you know that you can count on them. Right, Caden?
Yeah.
All right. So now we're just going to go over a couple things that when you're biking, you want to do to stay safe. All right, one thing that I forgot to mention was that on your bike, you want to have some reflectors, okay? So this is my bike, and it has a reflector on the back. It has reflectors on the pedals, and it also has a reflector in the front wheel and in the back wheel. Okay, and this is my daughter's bike, and hers has a reflector at the back, a reflector in the wheel, and a reflector at this other wheel, there, and she also has one on the handlebars. The reason that we want reflectors is why on our bike.
So when you're riding at night, the cars can see your bike. Just because they can see you doesn't mean they can see your bike.
Right, exactly. So at nighttime, the car's headlights will reflect off your reflectors, and it'll shine into the eyes of the person that's driving the car. We were actually talking about this the other day when we were on our bike ride, and my daughter was asking why our bikes have reflectors on them, and that's why. So when you're driving at night, let's say the street isn't lit up and there's not a lot of street lights, the car that's driving, its headlights will shine onto the reflectors, and it'll reflect the light from the headlights into the eyes of the driver, and then the driver knows that you're on your bike, and they know to stay away from you and keep a safe distance. All right, so Kate and I are just going to have a quick conversation back and forth about kind of some things that you want to do when you're on a bike ride, okay? The first thing that you want to do is, if you're under the age of 18, you want to ride with an adult, okay? So Kate and I, we went on a big bike ride last night, and I went with him, okay? It's important that when you're young, Caden's 8 years old, that you have an adult with you, okay? It's important that you have an adult with you when you're young, okay? Because it helps you stay safe. It gives you someone to follow. It gives you someone, if you're in need and you fall or something like that. Maybe even getting lost, right? Adults know where they're going, and they probably have a good idea of how to get home from wherever you are, right?
Yeah.
Because you could get lost. Caden, what are some things that you think you should have with you when you're on a bike ride?
You should have water in case you get dehydrated, because if you get dehydrated, it's really hard to keep up your pace, and
That's a really good point. Yeah, it's good to have some water. What is Mr. B wearing on his face?
sunglasses.
Sunglasses. And I like to wear sunglasses because it keeps me from getting headaches, number one. Number two, it also helps me to see better. So on a day like today when it's really, really sunny outside, I have a hard time seeing everything if I don't have sunglasses on. So when I have the sunglasses on, it cuts down basically the sun's rays, and then I'm able to see a little better, and that way I'm safer on my bike, right?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. What else do we do when we're biking?
Look both ways when you cross the road.
Oh, it's like you have a great teacher. Who taught you all those things?
You.
Oh, awesome. So when you're gonna go cross the street, what do you want to do?
Look both ways before you cross the road, because a car could be going down a back lane, let's say, and there's fences on both sides. So you go across the bike, the car doesn't see you, and then you get hit by the car.
Exactly. So you need to look both ways when you're crossing a street. You need to look both ways when you're crossing a driveway. You need to look both ways when you're crossing a back lane, because those are all places that cars are going to be driving, and they're not going to be expecting you. People that are driving cars, they're absolutely 100% never trying to hit someone that's on a bike. But sometimes they're just not paying attention, and sometimes they're not expecting it. So when I'm driving down the back lane, sometimes, I have to really, really focus and remind myself to stop when I come to the back lane so that I don't hit someone that's on a bike. When I'm backing out of the driveway, I have to really focus on looking and checking my mirror to see if there's anybody behind me, right? So those are all things that you can also do as someone on a bike to help yourself stay safe. So always look both ways when you're going past a driveway, past a back lane, or when you're crossing a street, right? Awesome. All right, and I think, you know what, we've given lots of information on how to dress safe, on what we need to wear on our head to stay safe, what we need on our parts on our bike to stay safe, and a few tips on when you're biking, how to stay safe, right? Always have an adult with you, always look both ways, wear some sunglasses, and maybe drink a little water.
Yeah.
Right? All right, I think we should do a 3, 2, 1 Mr. Beast Fitness channel. What do you think? Yeah. All right, put her there. There's the, hold on, let's get the grenades in there. All right, 3, 2, 1.
Mr. Beast Fitness Channel!
Boom!